everyone. Welcome to Barca News and welcome to the post-match live analysis. My name is Mo, and today we're going to be talking about the Spanish Super Cup semi-final that just ended a few hours ago, where Barcelona absolutely thrashed, destroyed, and demolished Athletic Club de Bilbao 5-0 with a double goal by Coutinho, a goal by Ferran, a goal by Fermin, and a goal by Rooney Bardaji. What an absolute goal fest in Saudi Arabia. A match which could have easily ended 7-8, maybe even 9-0. I mean, Fermin Lopez did miss a clear chance. And then in the second half, pretty much Barcelona reduced the intensity because at that point, well, the match was over. Now, this was an incredibly difficult, complicated, challenging match for Barca. Just kidding, guys. It was an absolute disgraceful performance by Athletic Club de Bilbao. And before we talk about Barcelona, I do want to talk about Athletic Club de Bilbao because, my God, this team is a shell of what they used to be. It's a completely deflated, flat, lifeless team. They're an absolute mess. You guys know that meme of Homer Simpson where he's like standing and there's a bush behind him and then like he slowly starts to disappear into the bush? That was pretty much Athletic Club de Bilbao today, because they came out of the locker room. They must have played the match the first few minutes, and as the minutes went by, the team slowly disappeared. And once the goals started raining, pretty much Athletic Club de Bilbao were non-existent. I mean, this was a one-sided match with Barcelona doing whatever the hell they wanted to do, and with Athletic Club de Bilbao completely disappeared. I mean, what a mess. No organization on any lines whatsoever. I did not understand their tactical plan for the match. I mean, they defended with a mid-block, and yet as the goals continued to rain, they didn't even bother to drop down and say, hey, maybe let's stop the bleeding. Maybe let's, defend with a low block. Nope, they continue with the mid-block. No synchrony between their players, no synchrony between their lines. I mean, absolute disaster of a team. Disaster of a team. And it's just been a combination of what their season has been so far. A disaster of a season, because they've been just as disastrous in the Champions League. They've been just as disastrous as in La Liga. But what a shameful performance by Athletic Club de Bilbao. Not to take away, of course, any merit from what Barcelona did. But, I mean, honestly, it was pretty embarrassing to watch this. I mean, to think that this is a semi-final of a trophy, I mean, I don't know, and to think that Athletic Club de Bilbao signed Nico Williams for 10 years, almost went bankrupt, giving him all the money that his agent asked for, and then that they were supposed to be putting on a super project that was going to win La Liga. This team, I'm sorry, but this team cannot even win a Sunday league. I mean, it was an absolute embarrassing performance by Athletic Club Bilbao. And honestly, on one side, I'm kind of angry because this is a semi-final. I mean, I expect two teams going at it. I expected this match to be more hard fought. I expected this match to be more challenging. But instead, we saw Barcelona pretty much walk towards a victory, because that's how easy this match was. But on the other hand, I'm happy because you know what? Fuck you, Athletic Club de Bilbao. You talked so much shit, not this last summer, but the summer before with the whole Negreira case, coming out and saying, oh, yeah, Barcelona bribed referees, blah, blah, blah. And then with the Nico Williams case this past summer, you talked even more shit. And well, look at you now. You were supposed to be putting on this super project that was going to win La Liga. And again, this team cannot even win La Liga if they're playing FIFA. But absolutely shameful performance by Athletic Club Bilbao. But of course, I'm happy. And I'm wondering, what is Nico Williams thinking about all of this to pretty much give away his future, destroy his career, to stay in this team and to be a part of a team that's an embarrassment weekend after weekend? I wonder what's going through that guy's mind. But anyways, he made his bed and it's time to lie in it. But enough about Athletic Club de Bilbao. They're a pathetic club that's not worth any more minutes. Let's talk about FC Barcelona and their incredible performance today. But of course, as always, I first like to discuss the lineup. Then I like to discuss the team in general. And then finally, I do like to discuss a specific players. Now, let's start with the lineup, because Hansi Flick, I think, did a good job with today's lineup, especially thinking that in a few days on Sunday, we have a final to think about. So, excuse me, this is the lineup that he started with. Joan Garcia in goal, Jules Koundé and Balde as our two fullbacks. One change in a defensive line, which is Eric Garcia in the place of Gerard Maldini right next to Pau Cubarsí. I think at this point we can expect Eric Garcia to start in every single match, whether it be in a center-back position or a defensive midfield position. I think Eric Garcia has definitely earned a spot in Hansi Flick's lineup. Now, in the double pivot, we had Frankie de Jong next to Pedri Potter or Pedri Potter. Pedri Potter is in Spanish, of course. That's what they call it because, once again, Pedri was magical. We'll talk about him in a little bit. And then we had Fermín López in the attacking midfield position. Coutinho, Rooney Bardghji on the wings. Great match by Bardghji. We'll talk about it in a little bit. And then Ferran as our center forward. This was the lineup that Hansi Flick chose. I think it was the correct lineup. It was a mix of starters, of course, because you want to guarantee the win, but also with some substitutions here in order to rotate and make sure that we arrive to the final fresh. But of course, you can't rotate too much because you still have to get through the semifinal before you can even think about the final. Now, let's talk about the team in general because this team ended the match in like 13 minutes. I think the first 3 goals came within 3 minutes. And even before the third goal came, when who scored the second goal? Was it Rooney Bardghji? When Rooney Bardghji scored the second... No, Fermín López, sorry. When Fermín López scored the second goal, I texted my friends. I'm like, this is over. This is absolutely over. Not just because of the goals, because we were up 2-0. But, I mean, Athletic Club de Bilbao had 0 response. This team was dead. It was declared dead at, like, the 5th minute. The funeral had been held. The team had been buried. And Barcelona were already up 2-0. I was like, this match is over. And that's exactly what happened because then came the 3rd, then came the 4th. And then, of course, in the second half came the 5th. And then Barcelona completely relaxed, took off their foot at the accelerator because why would they continue playing with intensity now that you're up 5-0? And pretty much there wasn't much to talk about in the second half because, let's be honest, there was no need to do anything else. I mean, if Barcelona had continued to play with the same intensity as the first half, we could have saw an 8, maybe 9-0 against Athletic Club de Bilbao. And, you know, it would have been the same story. Now, let's talk about the goals. Because, wow. Coutinho, that 4th goal. Holy shit. The way he puts the goal to his left leg, it just completely annihilates Unai Simon's goal. What a goal by Coutinho. What a goal by Fermín López in the second one, which was, I think, pretty funny because he had just missed a clear shot, an easy shot where he gets the ball inside the box. He could have, shot it and scored a goal. He could have passed it to Ferran and assisted, but instead he takes a horrible shot right at Unai Simon. He saves it, and then a few moments later, Raphinha puts in one hell of a cross for him. And those crosses, believe it or not, are very difficult to make because the ball is coming very fast, lots of force. Those are the kind of balls that a lot of times they end up flying over the goal into the stands. But yeah, Fermín López, the way he positions his body and the way he turns his foot, he ends up scoring. What a goal by Rooney Bardghji. I mean, maybe not the goal itself, but what led up to the goal, because it was a blunder by Unai Simon, which I'll talk about in a little bit. By the way Rooney Bardghji pretends that he's going to shoot, chops the defender, that gives him enough space to put a strong shot towards Unai Simon, and then Unai Simon gets to the ball, but the ball goes under him and into the goal. And I'll ask this question again. This is the same question I asked after the Espanyol match. Luis de la Fuente, what the fuck are you waiting for? Are you kidding me? Because last week, Joan Garcia put on one hell of a performance. Meanwhile, Unai Simon had an absolute blunder with Athletic Club de Bilbao. Today, they go head-to-head, and Unai Simon, another blunder. Meanwhile, Joan Garcia could have easily taken a nap, he could have left the stadium, and still, it would have ended 0-0. I mean, Joan Garcia could have taken a shower and said, you know what, I've never visited Jeddah. Let me go do some sightseeing. And then it still would have ended 0-0. I mean, he did have one intervention. There was one shot that was deflected, I think by Ferran. And then Joan Garcia had to jump and save it. But besides that, Joan Garcia had 0-0 to work. And again, Luis de la Fuente, what are you waiting for? And when I ask the question, I don't mean because Joan Garcia had one hell of a match, because he didn't. He had no work to do. But it's because the terrible match that Unai Simon had. And when you compare that to that amazing performance that Joan Garcia had against Espanyol, I mean, it's clear as day. Joan Garcia needs to be the starting goalkeeper for the Spanish national team if they want to have a shot at winning the World Cup. If you want to lose, by all means, take Unai Simon and call it a day. But what a performance by Barcelona again. Not much to say. I mean, Barcelona completely destroying Athletic Club de Bilbao, ending the match within the first I think it was within 13 minutes because by the third goal, I mean, the match was over. And then, of course, came the fourth and fifth. Second half, there's not much to say because, of course, the team did reduce their intensity. Now, let's talk about the players because there are some players I want to talk about. Eric Garcia, another masterclass in the defense. I mean, this guy can do it all. It doesn't matter if he plays as a defensive midfielder or as a center back. This guy can't do it all. And to think that he was so close to leaving Barcelona, and he left on one season loan to Girona. He almost left again in the summer when he came back. He almost left again in the winter transfer market. And then Flick saying, no, I know what this guy has to give. I know he has promise. Keep him. And that's exactly what Barca did. And it paid off. It paid off during the second half of last season. It's paying off during this season. I mean, what a performance by Eric once again. And at this point, I think he has earned his starting spot. Whether in a defensive mid, in a center back, as a goalkeeper, as a center forward, it doesn't matter. Eric Garcia needs to be in the starting 11. Another player I want to talk about, Pedri. I mean, we have gotten so used to his performances that at this point, we barely ever talk about it because he's always great. But today, another masterful performance. And this, of course, reminds me of a quote by Johan Cruyff that said, playing football is simple, but playing simple football is the hardest thing to do. And Pedri is the personification of this quote because Pedri plays simple football. He makes it look so easy. The way he glides through the field, leaving opponents in the rearview mirror, the way he always makes the correct pass, the way he always makes the correct decision. I mean, Pedri is a God-given gift to FC Barcelona. And to think he only costs us, I think now it's up to like 20 million with variables. I don't care. This guy is worth 200 million, and we only got him for 20 million euros. Fermín López, absolute revelation this season. I mean, I think he was already revelation last season, but more so this season. But Fermín López, again, making a strong case that he needs to be in the starting 11. 2 assists and a goal. And then, of course, we have to talk about Rooney Bardarji because what a match by the Swedish Syrian player. What a match by Rooney Bardarji. Not only because he scored the goal and provided an assist. I think 2 assists. No, 1 assist. Anyways, goal. I can't remember the assist right now. It's too many. But let's just, not even just because of the goal, but the way you see him play, the way he dribbles, the way he reads the field, the way he reads the movement of his teammates, the way he positions himself. You would think that Rooney Bardarji has been playing for Barcelona for 5 years by now. And this is amazing because you look at Marcus Rashford, for example, and Rooney Bardarji fits the system way better than Marcus Rashford does. Not to say that Rooney is better than Marcus, because I'm sure if you compare them skill by skill, I'm sure Marcus would win. But the way Rooney Bardarji, when he plays, the way he understands what's going on around him, how he reads the field and how he positions himself, he is fitting in way better than when Marcus Rashford plays on the left. And Rooney Bardarji has gotten a fraction of the minutes that Marcus Rashford has gotten. And I think today, once again, Rooney Bardarji shows us that he deserves to be playing more, that he deserves to have more minutes. And don't forget, he's only 19 years old. This guy is nowhere of being as good as he could be. Rashford is in his prime. Rooney is 19 years old. First season in a top league. First season with Barcelona. We have seen the tip of the iceberg with Rooney Bardarji. And I'm sure that if he continues to get more and more minutes, he's only going to keep getting better and better. And as he gets older, he's only going to get better and better. And we have a diamond in the rough. And Rooney Bardarji needs to play more. And by the way, it's great to have this because this is a clear message for Lamine Yamal that, hey, don't fall asleep. You might be one of the best players in the world, but there's a guy on the bench that's your age that has gotten 5 minutes the whole season, and he has a lot of potential. And if he starts to get more and more minutes, he could take your spot if you fall asleep. Not because Rooney's better. Of course not. Lamine is much better. He's one of the best in the world. But Rooney Bardarji has the potential of competing for that spot with Lamine Yamal. Brilliant match by Rooney Bardarji. And then, of course, Coutinho. I mean, what else is there to say? I think Coutinho is slowly finding himself again. I think after that injury, he was kind of like slow to get back to his rhythm. He had some good performances here and there, but he also had some performances where like against Espanyol, for example, he was very, very lost. But today, Raphinha goes back to being Coutinho. And not just because of the goals, but in his total performance. The way, of course, playing with full intensity, helping with the attack, dropping down to help with the defense. And I really like, by the way, the tactical change that Hansi Flick did today, because Raphinha today, he usually likes to play through the middle. He likes to go through the middle, even though he plays on the wing. Today, Flick kept him more on the wing, and that opened more interior corridors through the middle. And that's how we saw Pedri more participating more in the attack. That's how we saw Fermín López being able to score a goal. And despite that, it still did not affect his performance because Coutinho still had 2 goals. So I really like that option of Raphinha coming more from the outside versus through the middle, because it gave us more options on goal. It allowed Fermín to score, and Pedri even came very close to score. And of course, Raphinha is still got to score his goals. Now, Ferran Torres, by the way, I don't get it, man. I just don't understand what's going on with this guy. He scores a goal, but on the other hand, he gets a beautiful through pass that if he controls well, he is 1v1 versus Unai Simon. And once again, he cannot control the ball to save his own life. It's like hits his leg and it bounces back. He did that like 3 times in Espanyol. He had like 2 or 3 clear passes from Lamine Yamal where if he controls the ball the right way, he would have been left 1v1 versus the goalkeeper. And all 3 passes against Espanyol, he missed. All the controls were awful. Today, he does it again. It just doesn't add up for me. I don't understand Ferran, because you look at his numbers and you look his scoring goals and you're like, wow, this guy must be amazing. But then you watch him on the field and you're like, wait a minute. Like, what is happening? There's like a disconnect here between Ferran's numbers and between his performance. But one thing is clear, goals or no goals, this cannot be our starting center forward. Let's be real, guys. I don't care if he's the top scorer of Barcelona. This guy cannot be our starting center forward. I think he would be a great option on the bench, someone to rotate with, someone that can come off as a substitute, but he cannot be the starter. But nonetheless, he scored a goal. A weird goal, by the way, because Fermín López tries to shoot it. He shoots it horribly, so it ends up being a pass. Then Ferran Torres tries to shoot it. He also shoots it horribly, but it ends up being a goal. Whatever, I'll take it. But anyways, nothing else to say. Great result by the team, especially because since Barcelona were able to completely annihilate Athletic Club de Bilbao in the first half, the second half meant that A, they didn't have to play with much intensity, which meant they didn't get as tired. And B, we were able to sub players. Raphinha came off, Pedri came off, Bardghji came off. Lamine played, 30 minutes. Raphinha only played 1 half. Pedri only played 60 or 70 minutes. All these guys are going to be fresh for the final, because not only they didn't have to exert themselves in the second half, there's a lot of them also got subbed out. So this is the best pretty much case scenario. Not only you win the semifinal, not only you advance to the final, but you arrive in the final well rested, because you were able to completely demolish your opponent in the first 30 minutes. So great result by the team, great result by Flick. And then, of course, we're off to the final, which will be played on Sunday. And tomorrow is the second semifinal of the Spanish Super Cup, Real Madrid versus Atletico de Madrid. We'll see what happens. On one hand, Atletico Madrid did demolish Real Madrid earlier in the season. I think it was 5-1. 5-1 or 5-0. But on the other hand, they've been having a series of bad matches lately. So we'll see what Atletico will do. You know, they're always blowing hot and cold. We never know what Atletico Madrid will do, whether they're going to be great or going to be shit. And then, of course, Real Madrid, they've been shit. But with Real Madrid, you can never count them out. Now, what I would prefer, I think I would prefer Real Madrid in the final, just so we can spank them again and take another trophy away from them. But of course, we'll see what happens tomorrow. All right, let's do some comments and then we'll end this live, because later on we're doing the podcast. Yes, Wednesdays are podcast days. And even though we're doing a post-match live analysis, it doesn't mean we won't be doing a podcast. And by the way, I promised you guys a giveaway. I know I haven't posted it yet. I will post it tonight, because tonight the team did play with that 4th kit. And that's the kit that I will be raffling. So tonight, in honor of tonight's victory, I will be posting the details on the Instagram, Twitter, and the communication tab of the channel. Not a communication, community tab. It's called community tab. And the community tab of the channel. So stay tuned, because we will be doing a raffle. We will be raffling the 4th kit. All right, let's do some comments and see what everyone's saying. Koleka says, hi, Mo. What's your take? Who do you think we're going to face in the final? Honestly, I don't know. Again, on one hand, Atletico Madrid spanked Real Madrid. On the other hand, they haven't been playing that well lately. So I don't know. It's a toss-up. And Real Madrid is Real Madrid. You know, they play like shit, but they still get victories. They still get results. So we'll see. Again, I prefer Real Madrid, so hopefully we can spank them again in the final and take another trophy away. But we'll have to wait and see until tomorrow. Bogda says, I'm happy we didn't end up getting Nico. I think 2 years he will become a mid player. He's just speed and nothing else. I disagree with that. I think he did make a huge mistake by staying in Athletic Club de Bilbao, but I do think he has the talent and the potential to be able to succeed at a bigger team. Not necessarily Barcelona. It could be any other bigger team. We see how he performs with Spain when he's surrounded with quality players. The reason why he's not performing in Athletic Club de Bilbao is because right now that team is absolutely disgraceful. I mean, that team is in shambles. They're lifeless. I mean, that Athletic Club de Bilbao is just a shell of what they used to be. And of course, anyone in a team like that would do shit. I mean, if Lamine Yamal were to get transferred to Athletic Club de Bilbao next weekend, you best believe that his performance is going to be absolutely horrible for the rest of the season because there's so much you could do as one guy, right? I mean, it's an 11 versus 11 sport. So I don't think he's just speed and nothing else. I do think he has what it takes. I mean, just look at his performances with the Spanish national team. But I do think he made a huge mistake, just like his brother, Iñaki. Iñaki also had the opportunity to go to big teams, but he decided to stay at Athletic Club de Bilbao, ruined his career. I'm sure he made a lot of money. I'm sure he's happy with his money. But what did he accomplish? I think he won one trophy his entire career, which was a Copa del Rey. It's the same going to be with Nico Williams. I think he just pretty much ruined his career because don't expect to win anything at that club. William Castro says, I will take to face Madrid because it's good to win final from second best team and also show them that the last win over us was just a one-off. 100% agree with that last statement that it was a one-off. You know, I said it before. The only reason Madrid won was because Barcelona played like shit, not because Madrid played well, because Barcelona arrived with so many injuries at a horrible time in the season where they were just playing like absolute garbage. And despite that, Madrid won by 1 goal difference. And the last few minutes, they were begging the referee to blow the whistle because they were afraid we were going to tie it. So now that Barcelona have recovered their most important players like Coutinho, like Pedri, like Lamine, and now that Barcelona are slowly getting back to their former selves, you best believe Barcelona would win. Sanjok says, thank you so much for your donation. But Sanjok says, we needed this match, but let's be honest, they were awful. We still had some defensive lapses. They could have scored 2 easy goals, and their goalkeeper was bad. Yeah, they really were terrible. They really were terrible. And yes, you're right. We cannot fall asleep because the final is not going to be like this. Today, it was a walk in the park. That's why I started the whole this whole video by discussing Athletic Club de Bilbao first, because they were awful. They were just awful, man. They looked like a team of amateurs. They looked like a 5th division. I think Guadalajara in the Copa del Rey was a bigger challenge than Athletic Club de Bilbao. And Guadalajara are in 3rd division, and these guys, supposedly, they were going to win La Liga. So, yes, I agree that in the final, we cannot fall asleep. It's not going to be a walk in the park like today. Worthy by Grace with the donation. But you didn't say anything, my friend. If you went, oh wait, you do have a comment under it, so I'm gonna read that comment. But thank you for your donation. But Worthy by Grace says, "Oh my God, Mo, you took the words out of my mouth. What will it take for Rooney to have more minutes? The kid has a compelling aura." Yeah, man. What I saw today, oof, and not just his individual performance, but the way he fits within this system. Rooney needs more minutes. Rooney needs more minutes. Hold on, I'm gonna try to say this in German. Let's look for Google Translate. All right, here we go. Maybe. Why is this not popping up? Hold on. Okay, here we go. English to German translation. There we go. Let's look this up. Here we go. We gotta paste this. Okay. Oh my God, that's horrible. Rooney braucht mehr Spielzeit. That means Rooney needs more minutes. So please, Hansi Flick, I'll say it again. Rooney braucht mehr Spielzeit. God, I know that was just terrible. I'm sorry. But anyways, Costa says Nico Williams punching the air right now. He's probably punching himself and he's Asian. Evgeny says the fact we ended the game in 60 minutes, 22-38, reminded me so much of last year when we just streamed rolled teams in a quick fashion and called it a day. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Hopefully we can continue to do that. Remember, a certain coach told us that in modern football, there's no thrashings. That's a thing of the past. Chava the Hut says Espanyol fans should be ashamed of themselves. They try to act and compare Juan Garcia going to Barca the same as Luis Figo going to Real Madrid, but they can't admit that they are inferior club to Barca. 100% agree with you. It's not the same. Because when you go from a second-tier club, a club that's always fighting for relegation, a club with a budget, with the same budget as Barcelona's toilet paper budget, that's a huge difference. You go from making pennies to making millions. You go from fighting to stay in first division or fighting to get promoted to first division to fighting for all trophies. That's a huge difference than going from Barca to Madrid or Madrid to Barca, where you're already at a big club. You're already competing for all trophies. You're already making a shitload of money. That's a big, big difference. But for some reason in Espanyol's minds, Barcelona are their rival. We're not. We're not your rival. You know who's your rival? Teams like Girona, like Getafe, those are your rivals. We're in two different leagues, my friend. You know? But anyways, let's see. What else? P4K Chema says, hey Mo, any updates on who the CB signing will be this winter? We're not here to talk about signings, my friend. We're here to talk about the match. And Eddie says, glad we didn't splash money on Nico. I think he would have been a good signing. But he made his bed and let him lie in it, my friend. Stefan says, Rooney is going to become a Barca legend. Chill. Easy. Right now, the focus is for him to get more minutes. We'll see then what happens before we... That's a big word. I know how people these days want to toss it around easy, like it's nothing, like all willy-nilly. Being a legend of a club, it takes a lot. It takes to be there years and years of great performances, of winning trophies, of putting up crazy numbers. Not anybody that plays at Barca becomes a legend. So that's a heavy thing to say. Let's chill. Let's take it one step at a time. Right now, he deserves more minutes. The Jeff 12 says, you said skill by skill, Rashford will win. The only skill Rashford has over him is shooting. Right now, I think so. But again, Rashford is in his prime. Rooney's 19 years old. Maybe in 2-3 years, we'll be talking about, oh, hell no. Rooney has way more skill. But as of now, yes. I mean, you cannot ignore the trajectory of Rashford's career versus Rooney, who right now is barely starting and hasn't shown us what he has, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I do agree, though, about the shooting. I mean, Rashford has cannons for legs. It's crazy. His shot is insane. Carlos says, I really like better how the kid looks with the red shorts. I feel like it makes it come together. Yeah, I was surprised, too. Again, this is a kid that I really hated when it was first leaked, and now it's grown on me. But don't worry, because one of you will have the chance of winning it. Let's go. Let's see. Edward says, hi, Mo. Come on, Ferran Lopez. Wait, who's Ferran Lopez? Was making a pass to Ferran Torres. Oh, Fermin. Got you. Fermin Lopez was making a pass to Ferran Torres. That was not a miss. No, that was a missed shot. Go back, watch it. He tries to shoot. It ends up being a missed shot and ends up bouncing. Like, he's even surprised. He's like, oh, shit. But no, that was not a pass. That was definitely a missed shot by Fermin. It was a missed shot by Ferran, but it still goes in. So fuck it. We'll take it. Let's see. Bardino says, take your little rush to judgment on Rashford. Rush would be if I was saying what I'm saying the first week, second week, maybe October. We're in January. I don't think we're in a rush. Right? I mean, we've seen August, September, October, November, and December. We've seen 5 months of Rashford. It's no rush. And don't forget, Rashford is not a young player who's barely learning how to play and getting adjusted. He's not Rooney Bardghji, who just moved to a top league. Rashford has been in his prime for years. He's been at a top club for years. He's been playing at the best league in the world for years. He gets less margin than someone like Rooney Bardghji. So, no, I don't think we're rushing the judgment. We've seen 5 months of him. I think we have enough to go by. Now, if things change, great. But I don't think we're in a rush. I don't think it's rush judgment. He says, hey, Mo, just woke up to see the scoreline. What a fantastic way to start the day. Oh, man, come on. You got to watch the match. It's not the same just watching the scoreline. Koroma says, bro, Barca always gives me happiness at any time. Happiness. This is the best football channel on YouTube. Thanks. May Allah grant you your heart desires. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. And right back at you. Let's see. Night Game says, Nico definitely regretted not coming to Barcelona on the plane right now. He could have been winning the Super Cup. I mean, what was he thinking? Did he really think that choosing Athletic Club is a better option than Barca? Fuck, he didn't even have to come to Barca. Bayern wanted him. Did he really think Athletic Club was a better option than Bayern? The Premier League were interested in him. Can't remember what teams. But did he really think Athletic Club would be a better option than any Premier League club? What was he thinking? Anyways, I don't feel bad for the guy. Fuck him. JDNY says, yeah, red shorts started to get an eye on me. It looks amazing. It actually looks like this kit we played in today. Yeah, when I saw the red shorts, I thought they were still wearing the same kit that they used against Espanyol. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought they were going to use the fourth kit. And then they zoomed in. I was like, oh, wait. It is the fourth kit. It is the fourth kit. But what I like about the red shorts with the kit is it's reminiscent of the, I can't remember what season, but, you know, the glory days where we had a very similar uniform. Let's see. Suleiman says, Valverde looked lost from the beginning to the end. On the sideline at some point. I felt for that. I don't, because of everything they've done with the whole Negrete case and the Nico Williams, but yeah, he really did look lost. El Pollito says, Mo, what are your predictions? Real Madrid versus Real Madrid, are you gonna hate watch? Unfortunately, I can't because I'm working. You know, but we'll see. Stefan says, Rooney, mark my words, I'll remind you in the future. I mean, look, I'm not saying he won't, but you cannot say that with that much confidence. The guy is barely starting his career. Like, let's take it easy. Jose Aguilar says, yo, Mo, hypothetically, Barca and Madrid were in the Premier League. Where do you think they would fare in regards to standings? I mean, this season, I think Barca would be maybe top 3. Top 3 to 4. Real Madrid would probably be mid-table, if not worse. Because they're horrible right now. Right, horrible. I think Barcelona from last season would have won the Premier League, or could have at least won the Premier League, or been right there to win the Premier League. My dog is dreaming, and he's like banging his paw against the wall. He's doing this. Oh, wait. I hate this chat section thing. He's doing this against the wall. He's like dreaming. He's probably dreaming that he's chasing the ball. But anyways, I think last season Barcelona could have been a Premier League winner, and Real Madrid would have ended mid-table out of any European competition spots. This season, I think Barca will be top 3 in the Premier at this point, of course, and Real Madrid will still be a mid-table team. All right, let's do one more. Frederick says Arsenal wanted Nico. He had such good options. Yes, Arsenal, 100%. Why would he think that Athletic Club de Bilbao would be better than Barca, than Bayern, than Arsenal? It beats me. It beats me. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching, for tuning in to the channel. I will be doing the podcast. Of course, it's going to start late because we did this post-match live analysis, but I will be doing a podcast. So stay tuned, my friends, because there's news coming. There's always news, always news. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Viscarsa.